general nerdery.
You know, Tyler, it's cold outside. There's no kind of atmosphere.
We're not all alone, though. We actually have
More
a
or
guest.
less, Tyler. More or less.
Hi, everybody.
Sorry. Welcome to General Nerdery. We're your generals of nerdery. I'm Zach.
I'm Tyler.
And today we have another guest, and I don't know this guy, so I'm going to let you do the introductions here.
We have a guest and a first. If things sound different, it's because we're Skyping this episode.
It's very exciting. We're bringing the technology to like 2005 levels for this.
Yeah, which we normally are like way...
1995 levels for us.
Right, we're ASLing out there. Today we have Jesse, my old roommate, one of my really good friends, my first ever podcast co-host, Skyping in. What's up, Jesse?
What's up, guys? Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate you having me on the show. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good.
So, I mean, usually when we have guests on, we'll have you just, establish your nerd credentials, other than the fact that we were doing a podcast together back in the days where 90% of people would ask, what's a podcast, when you told them that's what we did, so...
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, my nerd creds, it's kind of topical. One of my very first memories of life was the early trumpet blast of this particular show that we're talking about.
Yeah, I feel that on a visceral level.
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely started out with, high science fiction sort of stuff like that. And, in Red Dwarf, these guys used to show up on the local PBS stations around here, right? Like they would do marathons, like...
That's how I discovered it.
Yeah, right. So my brother would record that, and we had just mountains of VHS tapes of, these marathons on PBS, and it was funny because they had the big telethon bits in the middle, and you try to edit them out, crash editing on an old VHS machine, but you'd forget to hit play sometimes, forget to hit record, and you would miss half an episode. Yeah. So, until streaming came along, and there was a lot of these episodes that I hadn't seen. But yeah, I mean, Red Dwarf was really my intro into nerddom, really.
That's interesting. That's now that you think about this is something that is the modern generation is not going to understand, is that scramble to get back to the record button after the commercial break-in.
Right. And there's other things I know that you can hold up, because you're the one that got me into Doctor Who.
Good man.
Oh yeah, Doctor Who, again, PBS, local PBS stations around here in Seattle. Yeah.
Support PBS?
Yeah,
is that what we're saying?
Honestly, PBS always feels like it's on the edge of collapse. So please support PBS. That's why I have Britcoms.
Hey, Downton Abbey.
I've not actually seen, but my mom and my sister are obsessed with it.
I can read because of Sesame Street.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, Mr. Rogers. Let's not forget.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Rogers.
Are you trying to make us cry?
Apparently.
Not yet.
Well, shit. I'll attest to the fact that for, a couple of years, I'd come home from work late at night and you'd be watching Star Trek or some old sci-fi, or, I guess those are one and the same sometimes, but.
No, and there was something comforting about Red Dwarf in particular. When you're a nerd, sometimes you feel kind of solitary and you feel kind of lonely. So watching these guys stuck on this spaceship and watching them have to kind of live the same kind of lifestyle that you live was kind of comforting. These guys are kind of stuck in a tin can, so it was, you kind of relate to it,
I heard a description once that it was waiting for Godot in space, and that description has stuck with me ever since.
Maybe even just a little bit of waiting for Guffman in space too, but well, before we get into too much more Red Dwarf, I brought some news.
Hit me with some news, boy.
So we'll start off with the one that crosses over into all of the news. The new Bond movie has been delayed, South by Southwest has been canceled, and Emerald City Comic Con has been postponed, all due to coronavirus.
Yeah, I had heard something about that.
Yeah, you're over in affected area, aren't you?
Yeah, where are you located?
I'm right in the Great Pacific Northwest. I'm about 20 minutes north of Seattle.
Oh, so yeah, you're right there.
Yeah, it's everything is sold out of toilet paper and paper towels.
How are you getting by?
Well, we stocked up like everybody else did.
Yeah, haven't resorted to the socks yet?
No, not quite yet, but all the roads are clear. The traffic is, but it's kind of strange to see the way it's affected everything. It's sort of post-apocalyptic around here.
I sort of didn't take it seriously at first because, I remember the Ebola scare from a few years ago and the swine flu and the bird flu and
Right. Yeah.
And you end up with like 2 cases in total, and now I'm just like, oh wait, oh shit.
Well, and I know even over here, things are starting to get a little nutty for there not even being any cases in the area.
I got the warning of like you should go buy toilet paper soon, not in the like stock up, but if you're going to use toilet paper at any time in the next few months, maybe get some backlog now.
Yeah, who knew? I thought it was going to be bottle caps in post-apocalyptic. It turns out it's going to be toilet paper.
It makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
Yeah, bottle caps are way cooler though.
Yeah, but they're not as much fun to wipe your ass with. That's for sure.
Yeah,
that's definitely for sure. So Bond is now November 25th rather than April 10th, which was like just around the corner, and we were actually excited for it after those trailers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still excited for it. Now I'm just excited for it in November.
So far, WonderCon and Cannes are both still on as of us recording this. Who knows, even a week from now.
I mean, the day we're recording this, Italy expanded their quarantine from northern Italy to all of Italy. So, like, this stuff could be wildly out of date by the time this comes out in a week.
Anyway, yeah, it sucks when normal news has to cross over, but this is a big enough thing that wash your fucking hands.
Yeah. Don't touch your face. Don't be...
Definitely. I didn't realize how often I touched my face until all this started.
It's only you're thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, I've still been terrible about it, too. I'm going to be the first with fucking coronavirus.
We work at a grocery store, man. We're already screwed.
That's true. So right beforehand, we watched the Black Widow trailer, the last trailer before all the TV spots started going, like all the heavy TV spots.
Yeah, last trailer before we go dark because TV spots give up so much.
I don't like TV spots. I usually don't even like, don't mind spoilers. I just don't like the way they're presented. Anyway, last Black Widow trailer. What do you guys think?
I said this to you while we were recording, or while watching that. I feel bad that the thing I'm most excited about in this movie is a man, because it's awesome that we're getting more female superhero movies. But David Harbour as fat, old Russian Captain America, Red Guardian, is everything I didn't know I needed in my life.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I was wondering while I was watching that, is that what happens to him after Stranger Things? Like the Russians capture him and like, is that what they do to him?
Oh, man. See, now, I don't have as much of a connection to David Harbour because I still haven't watched Stranger Things because I'm bad at keeping up on everything that they're putting out lately.
I've seen the first 2 seasons. It was good. I have more connection to Red Guardian, and even that I don't have a huge connection to. The combination of him being a big old fat super soldier is incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty great. What I am excited for is Florence Pugh playing Yelena Belova. Florence Pugh was in one of my favorite movies of last year, Midsommar, and this is a much different turn for her.
Let her get some range under her belt.
I think I am not completely familiar with all of her filmography. I think she's already shown quite a bit of range, but this is going to be just astounding to see Danny go from Florence, she was Danny in Midsommar, go from the flower dress and trippy mushroom horror movie to kicking ass alongside ScarJo.
Yeah, to Black Widow Jr.
Yeah. Did you end up seeing Midsommar? We haven't talked about this, so I'm just going to take this side tangent. What's up, Jess?
Yeah, what's up? Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
No, I missed that one. I heard really good things, though.
Watch it. It's like a mushroom trip.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually
all right. I'm sold.
What else do we have here? So we've brought up news about this show a few times, and then I saw some news that maybe, I don't know, might put the kibosh on a bit of the other things that we have announced about it to begin with. Green Arrow and the Canaries actually hasn't been picked up for a show yet.
I thought it had.
They've produced the pilot at least, but we will have more info by May as to whether it's actually even going to be a show.
I imagine it will be. It seems unlikely that they'd cancel it, but who knows?
It also seems weird that they haven't also I mean, CW loves being like, yeah, we renewed this show. Look, we got another superhero show. And this one, they're like, we'll tell you in May.
They're a little more nervous about this because without Arrow, I think they're really terrified of losing the cash cow.
Fair.
I think they just need to do a Constantine TV show.
Again, that would be great. Because I really liked the NBC one. It shouldn't have been on NBC. That was where they went wrong.
That was always a weird decision.
It should have been on Sci-Fi.
Yeah. I mean, Sci-Fi did Krypton for a couple seasons, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which I have not seen, but I kind of want to.
I watched the first season. It is really good.
Didn't they bring Lobo into that one?
In the second season, I haven't watched that yet, but I'm going to because Lobo.
The makeup looked pretty good. That's about all I can say about this.
They did old school Lobo, not that new Lobo that they did for a bit.
Oh, that Lobo didn't last 5 years even. It's already gone.
No, because everyone hated that look.
It's too bad because this is, I don't know, like 2016-ish. They did a, like, kind of femmy, skinny Lobo, like actual anime badass Lobo. And, like, the design wasn't bad, but Lobo was supposed to be, like, making fun of American hero action movies. So it really, like, playing him skinny and hot and realistic was not working for, like, everything about Lobo. But they showed some of the guy that did the redesign showed some of his other redesigns that he set up. And one was like full on like space Viking terror Lobo, like ripped to shit that looked awesome.
Fuck yeah. Give me that. Just don't give me what they gave me. Because I like metalcore music, but he looked like he could be a metalcore lead singer, and that's not a good look for a fucking action hero.
Yeah, it's
the
not
superhero
the
knockoff.
like...
Yeah. Oh, this goes kind of back to almost the OG shared universe. But since Invisible Man was just insanely successful, because I guess it only had like a $7 million budget.
Wow.
Yeah. So any money you've seen over that has been really, really good for that movie.
That's Blumhouse, man. That's how they do it. They churn them out.
I don't think they are going to link it necessarily yet to Invisible Man, but they are giving James Wan a monster movie.
This is
Invisible
Man connected to the Universal?
That's what I was going to say. They as in Universal. It's his movie. The synopsis so far sounds like kind of Frankenstein-ish. Or a takeoff of that. It's supposed to be like a group of kids find out that their neighbor is assembling a monster in his basement. And
Sounds cool.
And it's James Wan, and it's Universal right after the success of Invisible Man. So everyone's kind of thinking Frankenstein right now.
So do you think they're going to try for like the Dark Universe line again? Like they were really determined that The Mummy was going to launch a shared universe, and then it didn't because no one wanted to watch that fucking version of The Mummy.
I think they might just keep them separate for now, but go back to the idea of at least putting out movies based on all of those IPs again.
I think it's the right idea.
And then if they want to later on, they can put out Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein and start connect all this shit.
Every time that someone's like, we're creating this new shared universe, I'm like, well, I don't really believe you. So them not talking about it and letting us wonder, if nothing else, I think is the way to go.
Plus, Aquaman was really fun. I think that was the last thing I saw from Juan. So,
yeah, you did didn't he do one of the Fast and the Furious movies?
One of them. I don't remember which one though.
There's like 12 of them. I can't keep up anyways.
Jesse, you watched all of them. Do you remember which one he did?
No, but which one it was, I guarantee you it was fantastic because those movies are fucking great.
I need to get caught up on them still because I keep hearing that beyond the ones that I stopped watching.
Yeah, I got turned off on Tokyo Drift and never went back.
Yeah, those are the bummer ones. Once you get past those, it's just so much fun. It's just B movie, there's action spectacle, just crazy bullshit. It's so much fun to watch.
I kind of like Tokyo Drift. I still kind of like Tokyo Drift.
Okay, so I haven't watched this since like high school, so I could be. I don't think I'm wrong, but I could be wrong.
Oh no! I think you're right. I think I'm wrong for liking it.
It's okay. I like Frank Miller's The Spirit, so I really don't get to judge anyone on bad movie tastes.
Ooh. So Tessa Thompson, in an interview to ET, accidentally confirmed that Christian Bale will be playing a villain in Thor: Love and Thunder.
My guess is the Minotaur guy from
Dario Agger.
That's it. Thank you. What is that? Rexon?
Roxxon.
Roxxon.
I think Roxxon uniforms have been spotted on set photos for one of the Disney Plus shows.
They're like an evil gas company, so like a gas.
It's
company.
like Exxon on steroids.
Yeah, that hires supervillains, and their boss can turn into a Minotaur for reasons I don't remember, but
he was chased into the Minotaur's labyrinth as a child when his father, a shipping magnate's private island, was overrun by pirates.
I love comic books so goddamn much.
And I don't think he really wanted to be a Minotaur at first, but he kind of goes along with it now because he knows what kind of edge it can give him. And he's kind of just a giant dickwad that wants to mine all of the 9 realms.
He didn't mean to become a Minotaur, but he succeeded at it.
Yeah.
Well, does anybody really mean to become a Minotaur?
Yes, I think I do. I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
I think Dario Agger is the obvious choice because he's also Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, it's kind of a role that Christian Bale is built to play.
I've seen people throwing out other ideas that don't make sense to me, but some of them are even arguably not villains, but
I'm trying to think of who.
I saw somebody throwing out him as Adam Warlock, and I'm like, why?
Pass.
Yeah. God, I can't remember the other. Nightmare. Somebody threw out Nightmare.
I thought Nightmare was going to be in Doctor Strange.
Same here.
Okay. I'll find out when I watch them. Actually, I'll find out way before I watch the movie. Let's be honest. They're going to tell everyone, but...
having read a lot of Thor that has Dario Agger, I don't see Christian Bale playing any other role. But I guess we'll wait and see. Maybe they'll pull Ben Kingsley in Iron Man 3 on us.
Why? They've been getting shit for that for like 10 years now. Not 10, but many years now.
I never played the game, but they are going to be doing an adaptation of The Last of Us video game on HBO. I've heard great things about The Last of Us. Supposed to be super story-driven. I have not played it because I don't have a PlayStation.
Yeah, same here. I'm an Xbox fella, so I had to miss out on that one.
Didn't they, get one of the Game of Thrones actors to be in this?
I think that's been some fan casting.
Oh, okay.
Because everyone's now like, oh, who could you get to play this? And there's been rumors about trying to get Maisie Williams for a long time. And then I saw somebody throw up a fan-made, fan-casted poster that put fucking Jaime Lannister as the main guy.
That's the one I saw. Wait, Maisie Williams, isn't she a little old for this now?
Probably.
I was going to say,
now
she's a full-grown adult at this point, and I feel kind of like we should let her be. It's...
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't play the game, so I can't think of any better casting. Looks-wise, I understand why people are going for it, because I have seen the characters, but...
Yeah, I know it's Naughty Dog, isn't it? The game company?
I think so. Which
makes me endlessly laugh, because anytime I think of Naughty Dog, I think of the fact they made Crash Bandicoot originally.
Right, yeah.
And, I know, 15 years ago now, they went left field and, started doing more serious games, but that's who I think of.
Audible is going to be doing an adaptation of Neil Gaiman's The Sandman.
I've seen visual comic, or audio comics as they get called that a lot, and it's just audiobooks based off comic stories. I haven't listened to one yet, so I can't say it won't work, but I'm so curious if it will. The Sandman is such a visual medium. Not medium, but story.
I read the release about this. It does sound like there might be some original writing mixed in.
I saw the headline, I haven't read anything about this. Is Neil involved?
Neil has read scripts and gave advice. The guy he's working with, he has worked with for years on audiobook adaptations of his work. The director's name is Dirk Maggs. He did the audiobook adaptations for Neverwhere, Good Omens, Stardust, and Anansi Boys.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, that's about as good a things as you can get to do adaptations for. Like, who you'd want on that, but I don't know. I still I don't know how comics to audiobooks translates, and I don't know if I'm just being a dinosaur that likes comic books too much, or
Yeah, I don't know how this is going to work because the visuals in Sandman are such a big part of it, I feel. But it is also going to be interesting because it sounds like the storyline they're adapting is Morpheus getting captured and then having to regain all of his accoutrements of power. Which means the first volume, which would mean 24 hours. One of the most disturbing comics that DC has ever put out.
Right. And what were said accoutrements? If it was his mask, and he had a couple things he was looking for, right?
The mask is the big one I always remember because it looks fucking cool.
Yeah, right.
There's the bag of sand that Constantine helps him with.
There's what he gets, and something from Dr. Destiny.
That's the ruby, and that's the one where 24 hours is part of that story.
I know I read that, and I just am not
remembering
it.
Dr. Destiny has Dream's ruby, and is just in a diner fucking with the people in there for 24 hours straight. Oh, and the story's told hour by hour as it starts off kind of lighthearted, and then he starts making them fight, verbally, and then all sorts of weird mutilation and attacking each other and worshiping him like a god, and shit happens.
Destiny is somehow one of the most fucked up villains that the Justice League ever that was ever created for the Justice League comic book. Usually they're it's a giant robot or something, and that one well, it's a guy with a skull for a face that drives you quickly insane. Have fun.
And he does a number on Dream before Dream manages to eventually one-up him. But anyway, should be interesting. I don't know how interesting, because like you, I just don't know how it's going to work out. But Netflix is giving 2 Charlie and the Chocolate Factory based projects to Taika Waititi. Animated.
Two of them?
2 of them.
I heard about one.
One is going to be more, it sounds like an adaptation straight up of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but it's going to be at the very least, more closely tied to that story. And the other one's going to be about the Oompa Loompas, which maybe he can give them a little bit more humanity, because if you go back and read that story, those sections don't age well.
I haven't read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory since I was a kid.
They're pretty much slaves.
Yay! Oh, Jesus. Is it just me, or does Taika Waititi have a little bit of Guillermo del Toro syndrome lately, where he's signing up for fucking everything?
I don't know. The only thing I'm thinking with this is at least it's animated.
If he can do it, great. I am so excited for more Taika Waititi, but I feel like there's a new project he signed on to every other week at this point.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love those stories. I love his work. I think his type of humor will work well in that universe. I don't know. That's a weird amount of saturation. Even 2 projects feels like oversaturating the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory market, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of demand, though. People are clamoring in the streets.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
you gotta get them golden tickets.
When I was in middle school, I was in love with that Tim Burton version, but that was 2005.
Oh, I can't stand it.
I'm not a fan either, but it was, as I said, it was real popular when I was a kid.
I like Tim Burton. That's all I'm going to say.
I like Tim Burton. I didn't like that Tim Burton.
Or that use of Christopher Lee. Have you checked out the pictures for the new Batmobile yet, Jesse?
Yeah, I think I really like it.
I think so.
Load up a picture. Remind me real fast, because I'm sorry. I know I've seen it, but
just because it feels like a car. Again, that was the beauty of the Adam West, Batmobile. It looked like a car that some guy just decked out. Instead
Yeah,
of
this
just tanks.
reminds me a lot of the animated series car, but not nearly as over the top as that one was. But like we've gotten so
a little
used
more practical.
yeah, we've gotten so used to the Bat tank that I'm excited to see the Batmobile look like a car again.
No, and if you were trying to be stealthy and move around the city, you wouldn't have this giant, piece of military technology. You'd have some sleek car that, would take off if you needed it to.
The original Batmobile, like before they even really called it Bat, he just had a red sports car when he first popped up. Which is the most practical way of doing something instead of like, here's big bat wings on it. Like,
Right.
And I think back in the old black and white serials in the 30s, him and Robin were just cruising around like in an old burly Studebaker, right?
Oh, I think you're right on that. I've seen some of those shots, which is really fucking funny sometimes.
Oh man, I've got those World War II Batman serials on DVD somewhere.
Where you can like see him drop his smokes.
Take time out to do a commercial for them in the middle of it. And
Just, okay.
It's stressful out there in Gotham City, man. Every once in a while, you gotta take a smoke break.
it would kind of end up just being the Kevin Smith version of Batman that he always described, with them leaning against the Batmobile, having their smokes, running off screen for the action because they can't really do it back in the day well anyway, and then running back like, oh man, wasn't that fucked up? Time for another smoke.
I would watch Kevin Smith make a movie that way, like 100%.
I haven't been keeping caught up on this latest season, but with news from Doctor Who, Bradley Walsh and Tosin Cole will be leaving two of the companions.
I'm really I'm disappointed about losing both of them, but I'm really disappointed about losing Bradley Walsh.
Me too. He was fantastic.
Like
he was my favorite part of this whole new reincarnation of the Doctor. Graham was fantastic. He was amazing.
Yeah, and what's Tosin's character's name? I know this. Oh damn.
Yep. No, I know Yaz and Graham. I can't remember the fellow's name.
I read a book with him just like 2 days ago. Ryan. His name was Ryan. But anyways,
it's not particularly memorable.
I like Ryan. I like Yaz. Graham is so much more. I like older companions because you get a little less of the drama and the angst and more of the like, this is amazing.
Right, like with Donna's grandfather when he traveled with the Doctor for a while.
Will was the best.
Yeah.
Oh, he is so great.
Even Donna to herself to an extent, who was, not 19.
Donna got better for me upon rewatch. I remember the first time through, I didn't care for her that much. I think every time through, I care for her just a little bit more.
Her first episode, I don't care for, but her run where she's just not only openly not like romantically interested in the Doctor, but like actively romantically interested elsewhere was much more entertaining to me than another person pining over the Doctor.
Yeah, that got old, and I agree. All the companions just, oh, you're so dashing. It was neat for a companion to have like an ulterior motive.
And she's like, shut up, dude.
Plus, they can all fuck off. He's mine.
I do, if I recall, though, her first episode had one of my favorite baddies. It was the Ragnos Queen, the big spider bitch, right, in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
right.
some great makeup effects.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
Makeup effects are right. They are just on point.
Downright Cronenberg-esque.
Well, I mean, makeup's a good little segue because it was something that you pointed out when we watched one other trailer before we started this, and that's for an upcoming sci-fi show, Vagrant Queen.
It's based off a comic book from the company Vault, which is actually Missoula based here. That is all I know about the comic Vagrant Queen. I like Vault, and they're starting to make some noise, but they haven't picked up the like big boy status in comics yet.
The trailer looked good. What do you think, Jesse? Because I made sure to text you about it too.
No, and I'd caught it the other day just on cable. They did just like a TV spot.
Mm-hmm.
No, it looks fantastic. I grew up on that sort of Red Dwarf. Like, it's dark and gritty except for the big bright green lights. Like, I love that sort of shit.
A bit of Farscape to it, I felt like.
Yeah, with all the puppets and that's right up my alley, man. I'm very excited.
To me, it almost felt like a little bit like if you were doing Firefly, but in more of a Douglas Adams universe. At least with like the ship design.
With like a touch of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love sci-fi adventure books that lean in, or shows, whatever, that lean into the fact that they're sci-fi adventure and out in space and not just like, welcome to Earth.
Oh, right. Yeah. High science fiction. I love it. It's my mother's milk, man. I love it.
Well, that's actually just about all the news I had too, unless you guys can.
I got one, and it's another sad bit of news, but Max von Sydow died today.
Just today, 90.
Yeah. So if I die at 90, sure, be sad, but like, good job, me. So good job, Max, for making it that long and working for like 50 years.
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys were going to bring that up. I was waiting because that man has been in everything.
I was gonna say, from fucking playing chess against death on.
Yeah, I know him best as Ming the Merciless in Flash Gordon.
Right. I always I went and saw Judge Dredd in the theater. And I remember him being the badass old judge that came out with the trench coat and the big giant gun out of the wasteland.
God, side out. Minority Report? I'll go Minority Report.
What about The Exorcist?
Oh, dude, I mean, I love The Exorcist, but we still have to talk about that on Fried Squirm sometimes. I know I brought it up on a way, way early episode on the other podcast I do, Fried Squirms. Me and The Exorcist have a history where I wasn't able to watch it for a long time, and by the time I watched it, it was kind of little kiddie for me based on the other things I had already watched, and so it's awesome, and I bought it when I was young, but it's probably not my go-to side-out.
There's bits of it that are still pretty creepy. As far as side-out goes, say what you want about the new Star Wars trilogy, but when The Force Awakens, when he's in that opening scene, right?
I wanted more of him.
That was fantastic. I was in that movie theater like, oh, here we go. Like Max von Sydow, motherfucker, Star Wars, here we go. Like it was great. That opening scene was fantastic.
When he was in Game of Thrones, and there was something else because I was reading through his stuff, and I can't think of what it is now. That was just like
everything, because he acted forever.
Like he acted from the 50s to at least Force Awakens, which was 2015. So he acted for 60 years plus. Damn.
Yeah, just a shit ton of things. Oh, I mean, Dune.
That's the one I was thinking.
Right. Yeah, he was in Dune.
Yeah, he was Keynes?
Yeah,
Kynes?
He was he dies really fast. But
yeah, all sorts of stuff. Minority Report's a bit. I actually really like that movie, and I watched it a lot of times. But
me too.
Seventh Seal, just because it ties into a really good concert experience I had, where went and saw Murder by Death, and they were playing clips from Seventh Seal and a couple other Ingmar Bergman films behind them the entire time they played.
Is that the with the devil one? Okay, yeah, I haven't actually
with
seen
Death. Yeah,
that's it. I haven't seen that one, but I know, like, it's such an iconic imagery that I know it.
Well, and Bogus Journey.
That's right.
Yeah, that's I guess with Max von Sydow. Is there anything else we had for news this week?
No, that's what I got.
Because otherwise, I'm newsed out.
All right.
I did. I actually read something interesting. It was just a rumor, but I didn't know if you guys heard it, and it was one of the most mind-bending sentences that I'd read in the past couple months.
What do you got?
It was a rumor about Space Jam 2. Did you guys read this?
Is this the Jim Carrey being in it or something?
Yes, it is.
It Jim Carrey coming back as the Mask in Space.
Yeah, the character that we've all been clamoring for, the one you couldn't get enough of.
This is the rumor, at least, but I mean that's all. That's literally all I know about this. There's a rumor.
I would be super happy to see Jim Carrey come back as the Mask, not in Space Jam 2, but in like dark, gritty Mask reboot where it's a little bit closer to the comics and he's like a chainsaw wielding psychopath at times.
The comic was super murdery.
That's what I've heard.
I'd be all for that because I know that he has range and could also do a really fucked up take on that character, I think. But
I think the rumor is bizarre, and I have no basis of if there's any reality to this or not. I have no idea.
This is what I'm hoping not.
But
I just wanted to bring it up because it bent my brain.
Oh yeah. I will say he does seem to be enjoying the more like kid roles. Like he did Dr. Eggman recently in Sonic, which was
Did you guys see that movie?
I have not. I heard it's way better than it had any right to be, but
Yeah, that's what I heard. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, I keep hearing enough good things that I'm a lot more curious to check it out than I was before.
I'm still not willing to like pay for it, but if I go over to someone's house and they're watching it, then I'm super sit down and watch it. But like,
Have you caught his HBO show Kidding?
I've heard it's super good. I haven't had a chance to watch it.
It's interesting. It doesn't make you feel good though. It's one of those shows that kind of makes you feel bitter. You know?
Yeah,
he's earned that.
Jim Carrey kind of gets to be a little bitter, and I don't really hold it against him.
Yeah.
What have we been watching this week? Watching, reading, listening to? Gentlemen?
Ingesting. Okay, I have an easy one because that's all I've been doing all weekend. I've mentioned before, I often have a hard time buying new video games because I have such a big backlog of games that I'm still getting to.
Why I haven't bought any lately.
I recently went really hard on Red Dead to get through most of the main part of the story and kind of burnt myself out a little bit. So I've been looking at something just to pop to for a couple weeks before I come back and finish off the epilogues. Mm-hmm. And then as I was searching for that thing, Mortal Kombat 11 went on sale.
Didn't I hear they're putting Spawn in there?
Yes, they are.
Yes,
in just like
did.
a couple weeks. So 2 days ago, if you follow us on Twitter, you already know that I picked up Mortal Kombat 11. I just finished the story mode this morning. I am beyond pleased with what they did with it. I've been a fan of this series from way back in the day. There was a lot of time travel in this story, and they paid off a lot of things that I've seen throughout the years and done some fun things with characters and shit that I really like. And I could talk about it for a long, long time, and that's not the point of this podcast. So I'm going to leave it right there.
Well, no, actually, I'm kind of interested because I got it on Jump Street like the week it came out, and I've been kind of waiting for you to jump on the train because I know you're a fan. So
I will. I didn't guess everywhere it was going to go because none of the endings of Mortal Kombat 10 hinted at time travel, and so I had no basis of that. For that, but some of the other things that I did think were going to happen happened, and like the invasion of Outworld,
right?
Because if you don't keep caught up on Mortal Kombat, then especially in the later games, like the whole last 2 generations of games, whenever the story ends, it sort of leaves it at least slightly open-ended.
Mm-hmm.
And then
there's one ending that's canonical.
There's one ending that's canonical, and if you go through everybody's story that they get at the end of their arcade mode, usually you can piece together portions of what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's pretty traditional fighter.
Yeah, because like 70% of them will match up in some ways, and then the other ones are obviously fake, and they're just to give that character a good ending.
Jax goes back in time and gets rid of racism or something, I want to say.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a good one.
Super satisfying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just out of left field.
Yeah, so some of them obviously aren't the ending. Usually 70% of them or so will all like 50% hint at the same thing happening. And so last time around, that was like Earthrealm invading Outworld. Or the Netherrealm, my bad. Which happens really early on in this and was not as big of a focus as I thought it was going to be because time travel.
Right.
And, I don't know. Well, we'll have to talk about it more later because I could turn this whole podcast into that. But
yeah, no shit.
We'll get there. Jesse, what about you, bud?
What about me? About what?
What you been playing, reading, watching?
Oh, I just finally came across the What We Do in the Shadows television show on FX.
I've been meaning to try that.
I was a huge fan of the movie. I love Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement. Everything they touch, I think, is just gold. So yeah, man, I've just been laughing my ass off. It's funny as hell.
Didn't Tessa Thompson do a spin-off of that or something like that?
Yeah, I've heard. I came across that on IMDb, and I didn't know what it was. I haven't seen any trailers or anything. I've only read about it in print.
I remember seeing a trailer for it, and I never heard about it again. And I think probably just because it's a New Zealand show. So like.
Were you as apprehensive going into it as I was? loving the movie so much?
Sorry, what's up?
Were you as apprehensive as I was first going into it because of how good the movie is and being like,
Oh,
a TV show, like...
no, because of the creators were still attached to it. I mean, Clement and Taika Waititi were still, executive producers and writers and directors and whatnot. So I wasn't, no.
That level of involvement does tend to help.
That does help.
Yeah, definitely.
How about that Vampire Council?
Oh yeah, I think there was one or two that I couldn't identify, so I felt like a bad nerd. But yeah, that was fantastic.
Awesome. Oh man.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but there was a couple of deep cuts in there, and not only the people that were there, but the people that they referenced that weren't there were even better.
Yeah.
Nice. I got to get to it. No, Taika Waititi's enough.
Zach, how about you?
Let's see. I haven't watched or read much new stuff this week. It's been a whole lot of like, get caught up on this show, watch some Forged in Fire, do this thing. I think the only new thing has been I finally read Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars crossover from like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay. Right.
The end of his Avengers run, Doom becomes a god and like holds the shattered remains of the multiverse together.
So you read the main Secret Wars storyline.
Yeah.
Because I've only read like 3 or 4 of the side stories.
I had read a couple of the side stories. I had not read any of Secret Wars itself. I feel like I would have gotten more if I had finished his Avengers run out of it, but Jonathan Hickman really is probably the best ideas guy in Marvel Comics right now. So letting him do big weird shit, even if it's based off a bad old miniseries like Secret Wars, is really satisfying. He's a great science fiction writer.
I really overall liked this latest Secret Wars event.
And it gives respect to the Fantastic Four, and I feel like the Fantastic Four does not get enough respect.
Agreed.
And I get it. It's really easy to make them just this like super hokey, leave it to Beaver superhero team, but that's not who they are if you like actually try. And the crazy space adventurers in the middle of the Marvel universe is such a good concept.
Oh yes, it is.
That's why Guardians of the Galaxy hit so well.
Yeah. And this is just a different era of sci-fi, like in the Marvel universe. Like Guardians is late 70s, early 80s, is Star Wars and all the other shit that we love. And then Fantastic Four is like late 50s, early 60s. But it doesn't have to be everything in it is late 50s, early 60s. But that same kind of like sci-fi.
Mm-hmm. The golden age of retrofuturism.
Yeah.
Awesome. I don't think I actually realized that Hickman wrote that main Secret Wars.
Yeah, I'll lend it to you, man. It's good. I can't think of the artist. He did the God Butcher on Thor.
Shit. I should know that. Don't know. That's one of the rumors for Christian Bale is Gore.
Gore the God. I could see Gore the God Butcher. I'd rather have Dario Agger, but I could see Gore the God Butcher. Anyways, let's take a quick break here now that we've got our news and our reviews. Not reviews, but
what we've been ingesting.
Yeah, and then we will jump into some Red Dwarf.
Hell yeah.
So we've actually been talking about doing this episode since the first episode of the series, and it's just been getting pushed back and back and back and back and back and back. First, just because we weren't sure where to put it, and then we were like, oh, February is the 20th and 21st anniversary of this first episode launching. We'll do it then, and then life. Just life.
Then life.
So we're finally here, finally talking about Red Dwarf. This first episode, as I said, came out in February of 1988. So, sorry, I said 31st anniversary. Which means with new episodes coming out soon, these guys have been playing these characters for 30 years now.
It's fucking impressive.
Staying power.
It's a good run.
Well, and especially because I haven't watched a lot of the new seasons, but what I have seen has been pretty fucking funny.
I'm like 2 seasons behind, but it was still just because they're not advertised well in America, so I just didn't realize new ones had come out. So good news for me, but
yeah, no, the last couple seasons have been like a return to form. You know, they kind of drifted some as far as the fan consensus goes. There was after season 6, there was kind of a drop off. The guys had a split. Grant, Naylor and
Doug something.
Rob Grant and Doug Naylor kind of had a split. So one of them split and the other one stayed around. So you could definitely tell that something was missing from the show. But no, these new seasons, I think they reunited, if I'm not mistaken. So
oh, that's great. I know season 7 they tried to go a little more like action drama comedy, which as opposed to the much more like Waiting to Go in Space, which is weird. And then season 8 putting them in like prison and bringing the entire crew back. There was some funny stuff to it, but it was so weird to watch those seasons after like what Red Dwarf is. This bizarre.
Yeah, I agree. The jokes were still funny, but it wasn't your grandfather's Red Dwarf for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe we should set up what Red Dwarf is. I feel like a lot of the other properties we've covered so far on the show are a lot better known
that's true.
Than this one, and this one probably deserves to be a little bit better known.
On its surface, it's a Star Trek parody. And that's just on the very vague surface, to the point that Patrick Stewart's a big Red Dwarf fan. And he's got a story about flipping through TV one day and seeing Red Dwarf come on and not knowing what it is. And this is while Next Gen is recording. And he's literally apparently reaching to grab the phone to like call his lawyer to be like, what the hell? And then something made him laugh. And he's like, all right, I'll give this a shot. And ended up being on like the documentary that they made about it because
that was the A to Z of Red Dwarf.
Yeah. That's one of the things I recorded on PBS, like we were talking about. So
I recorded on a VHS tape back in the 90s for sure. Yeah.
I'm having flashbacks today. But what Red Dwarf really is the main character, Dave Lister, played by Craig Charles, thank you, is the lowest ranking person on this mining ship. He is the world's bummiest bum, but he's also like a charming, nice guy. He's just kind of gross.
Oh, we should say, for the purposes of this episode, we did kind of focus in on the first 2 episodes of the show. And what you were about to say, the setup for the entire series, is also pretty much the entire first episode.
Yeah. So, sorry, there's going to be some spoilers, but then we'll talk about it. Something goes wrong, or he gets frozen in cryostasis. Something goes wrong. Everyone on the ship dies, and he's let out of cryostasis 3 million years later. And it's him and like a ship's hologram and a cat just being sad in space together.
Wait, explain that. It's not a cat.
It is a humanoid evolution of his pet cat. Like the descendants, in the way the apes became humans, this cat became cat.
I believe it's a Felix Sapien.
That's right. Oh, that's so good.
Isn't it?
And apparently this show took years to get sold because no one wanted to invest in a sci-fi comedy in 1988. Like,
you can't really blame them. Like, no, it's kind of a bonkers concept.
The show should not have worked.
No, it definitely shouldn't have, especially with the people they had involved with it. No, there's no way that any of this should have worked. But hey, like you said, here we are.
It's so good.
I'd say on a more meta level, and on one of the ways I try to sell this show to people is you can kind of look at it in a lot of ways too as like a proto-Futurama, except live action.
I can see that. It's similar, like useless but charming guy finds himself living a sci-fi dream.
But then also with the fact that it's cleverly written, including science of the era.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it definitely has this sort of air of like Douglas Adams, sort of humor about it. Like whoever wrote this script definitely read Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
It's so Britcom. It's a British comedy sci-fi, and it does. I know from experience here, it does not work without the Britcom elements.
Oh no, definitely.
They tried to do the American version. They did 2 different pilots. I've only seen one of them. Have either of you ever seen these?
Oh God, you guys could do an entire episode about that alone.
They are.
Yes, I've seen it.
Bad.
I've never actually watched them because I always heard Jesse say how bad they
are.
They're worth a watch just because it's interesting to. You guys like watching a train wreck, don't you?
They do a documentary on one of the DVDs talking about this because the guy who played Crichton in later seasons, Robert Llewellyn,
right,
agreed to be on that show. He was going to play Crichton on both shows and just different versions of Crichton.
Right.
And they were like, so did you enjoy doing it? Everyone's super curious. And he's like, well, I put on the stuff that I always wear for Red Dwarf. I said 4 lines, and there was in the back area this large table with all of this food that I could request anything I wanted. And they paid me for this. So yes, I enjoyed myself. But like it's a terrible thing, and they just took like, generic 90s American sitcom instead of weird British dry sense of humor.
But we are way ahead of ourselves if we're talking about the American remake.
That is years later. Okay, so basics. Who are the characters? We've already mentioned Lister.
I want to throw out a little tidbit about Lister. Not necessarily about Lister, but something else about him.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I find every opportunity that I can to bring up Constantine, it seems like.
Is he in it?
Constantine should sound like Lister.
Yeah, you're right. The accent.
Is he Scouser?
He's a Scouser. Now, I believe Craig Charles will be the first to say that his particular accent isn't quite pure Scouse. He has a little bit of extra Glaswegian in there. One of Constantine's longtime girlfriends was from Glasgow.
So he would sound exactly like Lister.
So Constantine should sound almost exactly like Lister.
That's amazing. And I mean, like, I like the Constantine we have on the TV, but I would like that one so much more.
Oh yeah, Matt Ryan's great, and he's our first Constantine to actually have an English accent, so that helps. But he doesn't have the right English accent, which is he should sound like Lister.
But Lister, as I said, is a bum. He reminds me a lot of like biker bum friends that my parents had when I was a kid, if we're being honest. Like, nice, well-meaning guy, kind of disgusting. The one that got me, that didn't used to get me as a kid, I thought it was funny, and I was just like, oh Jesus, is how he kept sticking his cigarette in his ear anytime that he was...
I wrote that down. That's in my notes. That's funny because I've actually used that, like shooting pool and stuff over the years. Yeah.
I can see it. Like, it makes a kind of sense, but oh God, that's so gross.
It really is. Well, it throws people off when you're trying to play pool.
So, yeah, you have Lister, then Arnold Judas Rimmer, BSc, SSC.
Bronze swimming certificate and silver swimming certificate. He is the second lowest ranking person on the ship, and like Lister's nemesis, who is brought back as a hologram, which is why he has big H on his head, to keep Lister sane.
Did either one of you read the novel, the first novel, Infinity Welcomes Careful Drivers?
I read part of it.
Well, that's what I was about to bring up, because
it opens up with that. The book starts with that segment about, I think it was Saunders and his him having to sign over paperwork and whatnot, him just becoming a hologram, and
Mm-hmm.
So it really, the book kind of touches on that. But yeah, Rimmer is just kind of brought back as this hard light hologram, or soft light hologram. Sorry.
Yeah, he gets hard light later on, which means that he can touch stuff.
I can't remember, in the show, do they ever actually say that it's to keep him sane? Because I know that I'm pretty sure they explicitly say it in the book.
In the book, they talk about it, because he is talked, but I think somewhere in the show, when he's really frustrated with Rimmer, they talk about, like, he has interacted more with Rimmer than anyone else on board.
Oh, that's right.
So he was the best choice.
They definitely bring it up. In one of the later seasons, Lister gives a speech where he mentions that, oh yeah, Holly brought Rimmer back to keep me sane, a job he did very well and whatnot, Because if it's just your friend, you're just going to go off and do shit, but you need someone that's going to challenge you, someone that's going to piss you off to keep you motivated, right?
Yeah, and he is the most petty bitch of a character in the history of science fiction, and I love
Smeghead.
He is, apparently, the actors legitimately didn't like each other for several years.
I could see that.
Which bled through, I mean, because I've watched some interviews with him, he's a little Rimmerish. Like, there's an episode season 4 that got delayed because it was critical of war, and Desert Storm had just started. And every other actor was like, what the fuck? And he was like, no, I completely get why you would, like, not do an anti-war story during a time of war. And I was just like, oh god, that's the most Rimmer shit I've ever heard. It sounds like they have gotten over it, and part of it is just getting older and getting past your own ego a little bit.
Yeah.
But he apparently wants to told him, "Shut up, we're supposed to be space heroes" in between takes because he was really annoyed.
That's fucking funny.
It sounds like Mr. Craig Charles wasn't the best coworker to have. It sounds like he would show up late and frequently hungover for shoots when everyone's sitting around on set waiting for him.
He did sort of have some substance abuse problems, I want to say, in the early 90s. That's a bummer.
I seem to recall hearing an anecdote.
That's the most listener thing I've ever heard, so...
There was an anecdote that I heard. The director, producer, Paul Jackson, Craig Charles hadn't shown up. He was late for a shoot. And when he finally showed up in the parking lot, Mr. Jackson went outside and grabbed him by his T-shirt, just wretched him up. Like, what are you doing? And then his T-shirt came off in his hand and kind of ripped off, and they kind of had a chuckle about it. But yeah, he was manhandling these guys because they were kind of drunk and upset all the time. They were kind of unwieldy.
Oof. I can, again, very lister of it. Like, these guys, anytime I've seen interviews with literally any character of Red Dwarf, I feel like they just encapsulate who they're playing.
They would. They said, Craig Charles said that they would have conversations at lunchtime, and then something that they had said would wind up in a script.
Jesus.
And they'd be like, well, do we get a writing credit for this?
He's got a fair point, but I will buck that trend of them bleeding over in their interviews only because most of the interviews I've seen of Danny John Jules was when he was doing press for Blade 2, and he does not act like Cat in interviews for Blade 2.
But he's super fucking cool still.
That's true. That's true. He's super fucking cool still.
Which brings us to Cat, who is, you just said his name and I've already forgotten it, and he's Danny my favorite John Jules. Character. Danny John Jules, who is a cat. He is the essence of cool. He's very aware of how good looking he is. He's a cat in human form, and they did a really good job of bringing across a cat's personality.
Ow!
In leisure suits.
Right. Well, he is so Lister has this unquarantined cat that he picked up, right?
Frankenstein.
Right, and he's kind of keeping it on the sly, and it's kind of living in the air vents, and because it's against the rules, no.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets busted by the captain.
And the reason it's against the rules is because it's just dangerous to have an untested animal on board. Like, if it gets into they talk about the wires, like that could go terribly for Holly. And if it's got any kind of disease or something on that ship, I'm sure any sickness just fucking tears through.
So we have this scene here with
virus like 28 or something. Jesus. COVID 2019.
Hey, that's not funny, man. I don't. So we have this scene with Captain Hollister, right? The captain of Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Do you guys recognize this fellow from anywhere?
I know. Where do I know him from? I recognize, but I mostly know him from Red Dwarf.
Well, the actor's name is Mr. Mac McDonald.
Mac McDonald.
He was in The Fifth Element. I think most famously he was one of the cops.
He was the cop.
That went to McDonald's.
Oh shit!
In the beginning.
That's amazing.
I think he was also one of the Marines in Aliens.
Oh, okay.
And knowing that, I looked up his IMDb filmography, and I also found out that he was in The Empire Strikes Back. He was a rebel pilot.
Wow.
Yeah, so this guy has some serious science fiction cred.
Jesus. I didn't realize that.
He was a goon in Tim Burton's '89 Batman.
Okay.
Wait, I think I know. I think I
which
can think
goon?
of Empire. No,
it didn't say specifically which goon.
I want to back up just for a second. This is all super fucking cool, and my head's still spinning, and I think I might know which pilot too. But just because we've brought up the book a couple times, a book does exist if you want to read it. A few books exist. Infinity Welcomes Careful Drive. 4 books.
Either way.
Anyway, the first one, Infinity Welcomes Careful Drivers, is the one that would most pertain to how we're talking about Red Dwarf today. The books are an alternate universe, but I do think they're useful for filling in some of the information.
Yeah, you have room to fill in gaps that may not come up in a 25-minute science fiction show, but in a 300-page book.
Like the when we went out and explored the universe, it was empty. The Red Dwarf universe is one in which only humanity exists, and everything they run into is experiments left over from humanity over the course of 3 million years.
And even that only started happening when they were like, we've done this for 3 seasons. We're running out of shit to do alone on this ship.
But just stuff like that. I don't know. The book version of Lister actually intended to get caught with Frankenstein. His plan included going into cryostasis.
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten about that.
And it was for like a much longer time too. It wasn't like 8 months. It was like 10 years or something stupid. Like,
right.
The book is definitely it's different than a lot of stuff where it's like the TV show based off the book. The books came after the TV show came out, and they actually retconned some stuff in the later seasons to match the book because they decided it was better. In this episode, he is clearly like he's flirty with Kachansky, but he's not. There's no indication that there'd been a relationship, and they later redid that so they had actually dated. It does make Lister a little less creepy obsessed with her.
Yeah.
Oh, Christine Kachansky.
And I actually get it. Like, this is the girl he had a crush on. He gets put in stasis. Everyone dies. I would probably super obsess about that woman too.
Well, and she is his character's sole motivation for everything. Like his reason for getting up in the morning in this godless universe he finds himself in is maybe someday he'll be reunited with his love, you know?
Yeah. Which is kind of bizarre when he doesn't really know her. So makes sense to me why they were like, okay,
So they did have something.
Let's fix
by
that.
The way.
Yeah. Kachansky's really cute. I get it. Both actresses who play Kachansky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had Claire Grogan, I think, was the first one.
Mm-hmm. And she does it up through season 4 into occasional appearances.
Right, and then in I think season 7, Miss Chloe Annette came in.
Yeah, the original actress had quit acting and was working as like a news announcer or something, and just didn't have the time to.
Oh shit! Okay.
To go, play on Red Dwarf anymore.
I don't know how we were already into the episode, and I forgot to bring this up. What awesome comedic balls do you have to name your first episode The End?
Yeah, that's brave.
And awesome. And by the way, they're all dead, Dave.
They're dead, Dave.
Oh my God.
Everybody's dead, Dave.
Everybody is dead, Dave.
Classic.
I do, like, as funny as it is that he's been, like, sampling the crew, like, putting his finger in it and then licking his finger, it's a great gag, but I keep being like, you're on, like, a nuclear-powered ship, man. You do not put random dust in your mouth. Like,
yeah,
maybe the first time, but is human ashes that are probably irradiated that tasty? Like,
so Dave Lister gets thrown in as punishment for keeping this animal. He gets thrown in suspended animation to forfeit his wages. Is that right?
He forfeits his wages and he's kept in suspended animation so that way they don't have to, like.
And it was supposed to be what, 18 months?
Yeah, the rest of the voyage, because they're a mining vessel around Jupiter.
Right. So then the drive plate blows.
Because Rimmer fucks it up because Lister's not there to help.
We find out later.
Why they let the guy whose job it is to fix the chicken soup dispensers fix the drive plate is a little beyond me.
The Scudders have a better union.
Jesus.
I love the Scudders.
So yeah, Lister stumbles out of his pod and immediately starts just eating the crew, like you mentioned. Just there's this white powder everywhere from everyone that's been irradiated, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't immediately start pecking at shit I see in piles in the room.
When I was like a little kid, maybe like I'll be more likely to eat stuff, but I know what germs. Oh, to be fair, Lister does not know what germs are. It seems like he's like, whatever. It turned out fine so far.
I don't. If you're gonna do anything with a strange, I mean, I guess you taste it first, but
and then you're expecting him to snort the crew. Is where we're going here?
Yeah, that's where I'm going. I'm expecting him to snort the crew. I don't know. I would like to assume it was at least somewhat tasty if he just continued to do it.
It must have been. You know who we haven't talked about here?
Holly.
Holly.
Oh,
that
Mr. Norman Lovett.
always gets forgotten when you're talking about main cast members, but he absolutely was for the first 2 seasons, especially before Crichton came on board.
Oh,
And even when Hattie, what was Hattie's?
Hattie McDaniels?
That's it. When she took over for a couple seasons, she wasn't used as often, but she was a dedicated part of the show.
From by all accounts, Norman Lovett was a big pain in the ass. He was very vocal with the producers, and he made demands, and he was kind of a bitch by his own admission.
He looks like he would be a pain in the ass.
Well, for instance, it was supposed to be just a voiceover part initially, but he fought tooth and nail. But well, no, why can't they see me? I'm gonna be there. It's more I'm goofy looking. Put me on the screen. So
that was absolutely the right call, though.
I think so too.
Oh, I completely agree.
Floating head Holly just hanging out talking to them, saying weird shit because he's been on for 3 million years.
Maybe we should actually say that Holly's the ship's computer.
Yeah, God, I'm sorry, guys.
And
if you haven't watched this show episode is so confusing.
And has, what's the IQ?
6,000.
Oh, 6,000.
Yeah, the same IQ as 12,000 PE teachers.
That's right.
Wow, you do know this show.
I could start quoting Space Corps directives if you'd like.
So, but Holly has also now been on the ship alone with
no one
cat culture rising up around him for 3 million years.
How did the cats respond to Holly? Did he just not talk to them, or?
Well, they were sealed off in the cargo hold, weren't they?
That's true, and he couldn't access.
So he could tell there was shit down there, but I don't think he was able to communicate with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. I forgot about that part.
That makes as much sense as anything I can think of. That's for sure.
I mean, I think in the books they went into that.
They've shown pictures of the new special showing more of cats from cat culture, and I'm so excited.
Me too. Yeah. They haven't, all the things they've done subsequently, they haven't touched on any of that cat culture.
That's going to be super cool.
They waited 30 years to bring it back.
I think one of my favorite episodes is where you meet his grandfather who dies in the middle of it.
Oh, in the hats?
Yeah.
The old priest, the old cat priest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, the poor old man cut his nose open while he was filming that scene.
Oh no.
When he flops back over dead, if you watch, the plastic hat slides forward and it splits the bridge of his nose open.
Cuts his nose. Ew. Yeah. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
So everyone's dead. Lister's eating them. And then we get the return of Rimmer.
Who, as much as a little bitch of Rimmer is, he gets some really good insults in. A lot.
Oh, it's almost like John Cleese in Fawlty Towers-esque, the way he rants and raves and bitches at people.
We mentioned the hologram thing before. It was set up earlier in the episode, but yeah, turns out this is an awesome sci-fi future where if you die, you don't come back, but a hologram is made with all your experience and memories.
Yeah, if you're useful to the crew or something like that. So the ship can hold one hologram. So the highest ranking person on the ship that they need gets the job. So in this case, since they need to keep Lister alive and sane, Rimmer's the best option for the job. He's only the most important part of the mission. Which is terrible.
That sentence just made me laugh.
Yeah, I know.
Rimmer being the most important part of any mission is the worst fucking thing, but
the beauty of it is that goes back to Holly, because that was Holly's decision. Holly could have brought back anybody from the crew, but he brought Rimmer back specifically to keep Lister sane, because he says later on he was the best man for the job.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to bring back the most important man on the crew, damn sure wouldn't be Arnold Judas Rimmer.
Yeah, maybe Ace Rimmer.
Ace is great. They do talk about how the fact that it doesn't come up as much in this season, but in later, that Holly has robot dementia, so maybe his decision-making stuff gets a little tweaky there.
Man. So then Rimmer comes in and immediately starts bitching at Lister like nothing had happened. Bitching at him for smoking in the drive room. And
tries to put him on report immediately.
Yeah, but he can't grab his report book, right?
Yeah.
But he'll remember it.
He's like, you have to be my hands. Like, I've seen the things you touch. I'm not doing that.
Oh yeah.
The part that I can't remember exactly how far it is after all that happens, but when it connects Lister's original plan to basically the cat mythology, I fucking crack up every time. All the fucking Cloister the stupid.
Yeah,
It's not Cloister.
They meet Cat. They realize what Cat is. He does a very good job of playing an idiot cat. And you find out that Lister talked about his plan throughout this episode. His 5-year plan was to go to Fiji, which was underwater at that point, but he figured it'd be okay.
3 feet below sea level, I believe.
And he's going to raise a sheep and a cow and 3 horses.
And breed horses.
That's it. And he's going to run a
hot dog. The sheep and the cow?
And he's going to run a hot dog stand. And the cats have taken this story that he was telling Frankenstein and turned it into the basis of their civilization. Instead of Lister, he's Cloister the Stupid.
They're going to Fuchsia.
Right. And this is all in the first episode. So not only do we have this concept of this motherfucker being out of time, which is a high science fiction concept in and of itself, but now we're going to tackle religion as well. Like, it's very auspicious for a television pilot, if I may say so.
Yeah, I was telling Tyler before we started, I've been watching the show for 20 years now. I did not realize until today that the opening song actually is exactly like Lister's story.
Oh, him wanting to go to Fiji.
Yeah.
The end credit song, right?
Because I was always like, that song makes no sense. It's cold outside. There's no kind of atmosphere. I'm all alone, more or less. I want to fly far away from here. Fun, fun, fun in the sun, sun, sun. And later on, something about like eating fresh mangoes.
I want to lie, shipwrecked and comatose, sipping fresh mango juice, goldfish shoals nibbling at my toes, fun, fun, fun in the sun, sun, sun.
For years, I've been like, this is the weirdest fucking song. And no, it's literally about how he's like, God, I wish I was in Fiji right now.
See, now I interpret it darker.
Uh-huh.
It's, I wish I was in Fiji right now, but the whole first verse set it up that he's out in space. I think the second verse is better than life.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the second verse is probably more like the book version of Better Than Life, which is way stronger than the show version, or way more deceptive.
That's the hologram, like live your best life.
The video game
setup. Yeah.
Which the first book's ending is dark.
I want to say that's season.
If the other books never existed, it is a super dark ending.
Yes, for sure.
But those are also really fun episodes. Video game exists. The name describes it, Better Than Life. People go into it, and they just don't come out because it's better than life.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Then we go into Future Echoes. Should we just go right into the second episode? Yeah, he decides
he's going to go home to Fiji, and we jump forward to Future Echoes.
Well, what I love the most is Lister's blown away by the fact that he's a god. He's like, yeah, I'll lead you there. I'll lead you to Fiji. Like, I'm.
It's me.
And the cat, meanwhile, couldn't be bothered to give a fuck in the slightest. You know what I mean? He should be awed. He should be awestricken to meet his lord. But he's like, no, whatever. I don't give a fuck. He just wants to eat Krispies.
I think you're dumb. Like, he doesn't even believe he's Cloister. Like,
well, and it's just the perfect cat mentality too. Like, okay, yeah,
fine,
cool.
Whatever. Give me the food.
Yeah.
So then they decide it's time to go back
to the idea of it kind of being like a proto-Futurama. Like, how many times has Bender been a god now?
Oh, these twice. He was a pharaoh of ancient Egypt once.
Anyway, Future Echoes. As we jump into that, I have to mention Future Echoes is one of my favorite in the entire series.
You have mentioned it several times as like one of your favorite sci-fis. Before we even jump into it, I love the intro that they do of every episode of the first season. They show Red Dwarf, like the words, and suddenly you see someone painting it, and it turns out it's Lister, who's so low that his job is to like go outside and whitewash the building.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's called PD. I think it stands for painting duty, I assume. And it's punishment. Like, if you fuck up, if you break a rule, it's you get PD for 2 weeks. So you have to go out and paint the shit.
If you ever get a chance to watch the blooper reel, he fell off once while doing that, and it's better. It's like, because it's just him doing that, and then suddenly like and falls. And
they should have used that one.
That's what I think.
Dun, 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 dun.
But Future Echoes, they have decided that they are going to go. The original idea is that Lister's going to go back into cryosleep, and Holly's going to turn around and fly at light speed, which they've been traveling like just below light speed for 3 million years. They're going to turn around and go back home.
Because the ship's been contaminated, and they were waiting for the half-life.
Yeah.
For the radiation to reach a safe background level.
But now they're like, oh, fuck, okay, it's time to go back to Earth, but, like, we'll have Holly go faster in light, so we'll get there faster, and we'll put Lister and the cat back in, and Rimmer's spending the whole episode going back and forth between, like, I want to stay on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just be alone on the ship. That sounds great to me.
Because he's afraid that if he gets switched off, that Lister won't turn him back on.
Yeah.
Which I feel is a pretty grounded fear. If I was Rimmer, I'd be pretty fucking afraid somebody would turn me back on.
Like,
would you guys want to be a hologram if it was an option? I mean, I kind of realize it's probably not. It's not like I go to bed and I wake up and I'm a hologram. Like you're dead. It's something that just has all your memories. But say it's you.
You know, part of me, yes, but it kind of like Rimmer, especially once he gets the hard light hologram and he's able to like just travel and be a person. Yes, that sounds fun and interesting. But like early Rimmer is kind of just a slave to this ship that can get shut off at a moment's notice if like,
or a beehive hairdo,
or get a beehive hairdo, or
which comes up.
Yeah, is that this episode?
Yes, it is.
Sorry, I did not get a chance to watch Future Echoes before we recorded this. I've seen this episode a million times, but
yeah, this one with the beehive hairdo.
Oh my god, it's so good.
So where were we in the episode, fellas?
Right. Well, we're still right at the very beginning, but I just almost wanted to say, like, for me, one of the reasons I love this episode is this is where a lot of the sci-fi cleverness starts to come through.
Yeah, and you start to get more of who these characters really are, as opposed to the first episode, which was plot setup.
Mm-hmm. Because I love just it's in the title, Future Echoes. Like, I love them running into the Future Echoes. I love the writing.
The idea is here that when they start going faster than light, time starts hitting them differently. And the longer they're at light speed, they start seeing echoes of stuff that will happen, but just like hints of it. And the longer they're in light speed, the farther forward in time it goes. So when it first starts happening, it is
like 10 seconds in the future, or more than that, but not by much.
A conversation they're about to have,
which is sort of Einstein's relativity theory, no?
And it's so brilliantly done.
God,
that's one of my favorite things about this show is it introduced me to a lot of these things that turned out to be, I mean, at the time they were just science fiction gobbledygook, but you know, the multiverse theory and all these things. Now all of a sudden, all these scientists are talking about these things. I'm like, oh shit.
When you first start watching the show, it's really easy to write it off as really dumb because parts of it are just insanely dumb. But it is so clever underneath it that just holy shit. Like
this episode, we get the introduction of Talkie Toaster.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
You want some toast? Talkie Toaster, I would not want. Cece stopped eating bread recently, and I feel like Talkie Toaster would launch a robot rebellion if something like that happens. Like,
I feel like if I had Talkie Toaster, I would stop eating bread as well. Or maybe I wouldn't.
Lister does. He ends up smashing the toaster eventually. Like,
I just wouldn't want a toaster that could outsing me.
So, yeah, we start getting these strange time dilations, which again, this show was my introduction to the concept of a time dilation.
And especially that first conversation where Rimmer walks in and Lister starts talking to him and can't figure out why Rimmer is having a completely different conversation with him. And then Rimmer walks out. It's like, it turns out it's a future echo, and the real Rimmer walks in
and has the same conversation, and it all makes sense.
And they play it so well.
That scene is one of my favorite scenes ever put down on television. Like the way they play it, it's fantastic.
It's one of the best written sci-fi scenes I've ever seen, and it's so funny at the same time.
And it illustrates the point too. Like this crazy like astrophysics concept, they explain it so well with comedy, just by having this weird Bob Newhart kind of scene.
Mm-hmm. And then they start to realize that these echoes of the future are something that will happen. Like, it's not a possible future, it's the future. And part of it, when they realize what's next.
Well, next is cat's tooth, right?
Yep. The cat's tooth breaks. Or they see an image of the cat running by screaming about his tooth being broken.
Right. And then we see the cat trying to eat one of Lister's robot goldfish, whom are named Lennon and McCartney.
Yeah.
I love the
But the cat doesn't know that they're robots.
And he spends most of the episode trying to eat them, I want to say.
Yeah, I think Lister chases him off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he doesn't break the tooth until more towards the end of the episode. Because then Rimmer thinks he sees Lister get blown up.
Right.
Just because I wasn't reading my notes well enough, I want to back up just real quick to the conversation in the control room and all of that. And there's one thing that maybe you guys remember better than I do. I'm curious if it ever gets brought up again that jumped out to me and was of particular interest. Does the marijuana gin ever get brought up again?
No, I wrote that down in my notes as well.
I don't remember it ever coming up again.
No,
but there's no way Lister's not a pothead.
Is it just gin infused with marijuana?
I have to imagine that's what it is.
I think that exists now. So, like...
Hey, just another way that Red Dwarf was ahead of its time.
Oh, man, I was so ahead of its time.
I love that that's what you got hung up on, Tyler.
Weed gin.
I don't normally like gin that much, but maybe if weed was in it,
I'd give it a shot.
Indeed. But no, actually, that's in my notes. It's funny that you brought that up. No, I have no idea what marijuana gin is.
And I've thought about how fun it could possibly be to make marijuana infused mead. Just saying.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being popular.
One thing I did want to mention about that drive room scene, the first time around, Lister's really interested in what Rimmer's trying to say. He's like, I just want to be left on. He's like, what do you mean left on the own for the rest of your life? And then it goes all crazy. So it's weird that Lister is actually trying to listen to this asshole, but they have this disconnect.
Lister cares about Rimmer. He's just not very happy about it.
That's a good way of putting it.
Because it comes up later when Rimmer's not in the show for part of a season and Lister misses him.
Oh, and they have that.
And that's everyone's response. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? And it's part of, as gross as Lister is and as dumb as Lister is, because he's both of those things to extremes, he is a legitimately nice, caring person, though.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that, like, if that was the last of humanity, you're kind of like, well, okay.
We could do worse. It could have been Rimmer.
I don't remember. I was going to say something. Marijuana gin.
Yeah, man.
Just hung up on
no clarity there. I've got nothing for you.
All right.
Next, they see Rimmer thinks he sees Lister blow himself up. And he's really excited about the fact that Lister's going to die and is like super enjoying not telling Lister about it, but being like, oh, it's bad.
It's terrible.
It is. It really does drive home what a piece of shit Rimmer is.
Well, parts of you explode.
And the rest of the episode is just existential angst of, if you know you're going to die, can you change your future to stop it? Like, this episode takes a super dark turn here and keeps it going for the rest of the episode. Like, it doesn't let up.
It takes a super dark turn, but ends with part of what draws me to this episode is this giant goal that they reach that at this time, this early in the series, seems impossible. And that's, you end up with a for sure future where Lister has 2 children and they're on board.
Yeah, because it turns out, like, he's really worried he's going to die. He tries to stop Cat from breaking his tooth and makes the cat break his tooth instead. And then he has to go fix a problem techno-babble thing.
There was a problem with the drive computer. It couldn't cope with the they were at light speed, right? So it was frying the navigation circuits.
Which is why they stopped going to light speed, I believe, after this, because it's just the ship can't handle it.
Right.
And he thinks he's going to explode, and he's like brought a bat with him so he can fight death.
Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, you can't whack death on the head.
If he comes for
Yeah,
him,
Rimmer
bite
tells him
his
that.
nipples off.
Which is interesting because later on, Rimmer has an altercation with the Grim Reaper and
Kicks him in the nuts and runs.
yes, exactly.
Oh my god, I love this show so much. Breakcom is amazing. And another point where Rimmer's a super piece of shit is like Lister thinks he's going to die and is like prepping him for it, and Rimmer like leans out to watch with like his ears plugged like from around the corner, like with just this look of sheer joy on his face.
It's because he's dead, isn't it? And we all want everyone to be in our club. You know, Rimmer's on the last. As much as Lister is the last human being alive, Rimmer's the last dead human being alive.
Yeah, he'd be the last man standing if Lister dies.
Or maybe he, if you, it's been shown in the show that if you divert the ship's resources, you can support more than one hologram.
So yeah, if
you didn't need heat or oxygen, you could have a Rimmer and a Lister, and they'd both be dead and both be holograms, and they'd both be in the same boat. Maybe he just wants an equal. Rimmer, his whole thing is being less than.
Yeah.
His whole story arc is being like, fuck, man, I tried my best, but I was never able to be up to snuff.
I try my best, but I kind of suck.
Yeah, like, it's true.
It's like the Odd Couple if they both suck.
Rimmer is an absolute piece of shit, but at the same time, he's a kind of like compelling. I really like Rimmer. Even though he's such a piece of shit, I would hate him in person.
And he's always got a pen.
Yeah,
that's very true.
He's always useful. The computer doesn't explode. He's like, fuck, I guess I'm not going to die. And they walk back to their bunk because they're still bunking together, like in the same bunk bed setup that they had before.
Well, that's because the rest of the ship hasn't been decontaminated yet, right?
Yeah, I think that's what they eventually settle on. That, like, as seasons go on, you get to see more and more of the ship as more of it's made nicer. Because the ship's the size of a city. The ship is
massive.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like the officer quarters get freed up, they move up to nicer quarters. The only thing they never really explain is over the years the uniform changes significantly, and they never bother to touch on that.
There are some compelling fan theories that I'd like to subscribe to.
Hit me with it.
Well, basically every season is a different universe, right? Like another one of the high science fiction concepts that this show introduced me to was the multiverse theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it delves into that. You get Ace Rimmer and you get Dimension Jump and whatnot. So they just said that every season is a different version of the same thing in a parallel dimension.
I have heard that rumor before.
So it's just because they got more money and whatever. Like there's logistical reasons. But as far as canon goes, I always thought that was fascinating, and I always really liked it.
I already accept like the books as being an alternate universe within this same
That's
universe. Like
definite valid headcanon, if nothing else. Like,
yeah, I don't see any reason why not.
Because every season is drastically different.
Even the books have alternate universes.
Right, yeah.
The uniforms that they get later on that are that kind of like shiny, he's got like a green one, a blue one, and a red one.
He's got the red one when he's soft light, and then he goes to hard light and he gets the blue one, right?
Yeah, and then he had green before that.
Yeah.
And all of those are really good looking uniforms. So sweet. I don't care why we have them. I'm just glad that we get that instead of the like Boy Scout uniform that they're basically wearing in those early seasons.
Now, for those of you listening at home, if all of this sounds up your alley, there is one other crew member that, although is not in this episode, I feel like we should bring up.
We got to talk about Crichton?
We got to talk about Crichton if we're going to talk about Red Dwarf, even though he's not in this episode. Because if we're trying to get somebody into Red Dwarf, Crichton's going to be a big part of that.
He's so funny. So Crichton is first seen in the second season and then becomes a cast member in the third season under different actors. Do you know the first actor to play Crichton?
Oh my goodness. I used to. I think it's not Tony Hawks. Tony Hawks was the dispenser with the lisp. No, I can't think of the fellow, but I know
And then it's Robert Llewellyn, I want to say, afterwards.
I know it was Robert Llewellyn that took over the part eventually.
Just
I think the character was based on a short story he'd written about a robot.
interesting.
Yeah.
He's a robot butler. Straight
He's
up.
a sanitation droid.
Oh, that's it. But he'd been like working as a butler or something, and he basically buttles a lot.
He buttles.
And he is the only like capable person on board the ship, but he also has like panic attacks and gets super weird at all times, and he gets like super devoted to Lister.
He's incredibly neurotic. But one of my favorite things about Crichton is after their 3 million year voyage into the void, he is the last remnants of the old world that they find.
Yeah, and
he's the last bit of this technology that works, that can, like, oh yeah, I'm just kind of been sitting here hanging out.
He's more advanced than a lot of their stuff. Like, a lot of times in later seasons, you'll encounter stuff that happened farther in the future than Lister was from. And he was able to be like, oh, well, in, the 40th century, this happened.
Right. Or he talks about their ratings in the magazine, like Consumer Reports.
Yeah.
Like the 4000 series got Best Mechanoid 5 years running because it likes to sacrifice itself for humans.
Crichton is another place where around season 3 is when they started traveling more and like leaving the ship more, and having Crichton around to help with that was very good because they needed some character that wasn't going to just die automatically.
Well, and he was sort of like the Data character. He'd always, when they were flying off somewhere, he would always do the techno babble, the exposition to set up whatever they were doing.
The only problem with Crichton, and I say problem with, it's not much of a problem, is Holly became really superfluous after Crichton. Like, both characters weren't really needed at the same time.
I would agree with that.
Because before that, Holly was their exposition person, but he couldn't leave the ship, so there was only so much you could exposition with him or her, depending on which version of Holly.
Right, and they would put him on a TV screen in early episodes and like cart him out places.
Yeah, Lister's got like a watch in one episode.
Right, yeah. Was it?
That was Waxworld, I want to say.
The watch was stasis leak.
Oh, yeah, okay.
God. No, but there's an episode where it's the anniversary of Rimmer's death, and they're out cooking sausages on an asteroid, and Holly's out on a monitor.
Yeah, that's in the second season, I think.
Right.
Well, I guess I got just a question. Future Echoes is one of my favorite episodes. What do you guys have any episodes that jump out to you as your guys' favorite or favorites?
Waxworld. Waxworld is an episode in the 4th season where they find a wax museum planet, and it's wax droids instead of like wax statues, but they've become sentient and aware, and it's become a war between like the greatest figures in human history versus the worst people in human history. So like Hitler and Stalin and the Roman emperor that like
Rasputin.
Yeah, Rasputin was one of them, versus like Mother Teresa,
Caligula,
Pythagoras, and Lincoln, and Mahatma Gandhi,
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, Elvis. And Rimmer finds these people and decides that he's going to lead the good guy wax droids into victory against the evil. Like, this is his chance to play like general and risk in real life. And it's just stupid funny. There's a comment of, why is Mahatma Gandhi practicing hand-to-hand combat with a nun? That's Lieutenant Colonel Mother Teresa. And then it gets real dark at the end because Rimmer gets all of these wax droids on both sides killed. And he's like, victory! And I'm like, what victory? Everyone's dead. You have destroyed this world. It just gets real dark out of nowhere, but with like a good anti-war message that I appreciated.
Yeah, if I recall, I think in that episode they hang Winnie the Pooh at gallows.
Oh my god, yeah, that's right. They do it off panel.
Yeah, and it's horrible.
But they're talking about like Lister's like looking through jail cells explaining what's happening. And I don't remember if it's to hang him or it's a firing squad, but like something happens and Lister like turns around and sits down, and credit to the actor, he looks haunted.
And he goes, that is something no one should ever have to see.
Oh my god, it's like...
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh, he refused the blindfold.
Oh God, Jesus Christ, this fucking show.
No, but yeah, at the end of that episode, it's funny you brought that up because I kind of remember that speech. Like Rimmer's like declaring victory, even though everybody's dead, right?
Yeah, and
And
Lister,
Lister just goes, "Yeah, Rimmer, right." So now all the corpses that littered that battlefield can just lie there, safe in the arms that they snuffed it under a flag of peace, and now
That's
can
it.
happily decompose in a land of freedom. You smeghead.
And then they still end it with a joke because by that one there was like a light bee. It was a little thing that would like they could load the hologram into, and he could like float around and leave the ship if he needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would buzz around inside him and project his image.
And he takes the light bee and swallows it as like revenge for Rimmer getting this entire world destroyed.
Right.
And so Rimmer has to spend the next 2 days experiencing Lister's digestive system. Like, it's just another example of how this show goes from like funny to really like dark and philosophical to poop humor.
Yeah.
in the space of like a scene.
About you, Jesse?
Do you have a favorite episode?
Oh, I really like Sirens, the first episode of season 6.
That's the one with the women, genetically modified creatures, the genetically engineered life forms.
Right, and Lister kind of inexplicably comes out of cryostasis again. You don't really know what's going on, but Crichton tells him he's been in for 200 years, and he comes out and like tries to trim his fingernails with a pencil sharpener.
Oh God! And the fingernails are like super long and twisty. Oh yeah,
Right.
that
But
was.
yeah, the jokes in that episode are so funny. Like they find messages written on the wall in people's guts, and they're like, "Who would do that?" And they're like, "Well, someone that badly needed a pen." Like,
Yeah.
just very punchy. And by that point, the set design, they had some more money, so it looked better. It wasn't this gray drab. They had
The Starbug set was gorgeous.
yeah. Once Starbug came around, that kind of shit was great. The being able to go off and do adventures and go off and see planets and stuff. The model shots, especially, I think we've been ignoring that. Some of these model shots they have in this show are fantastic.
I love models too. Like models get underrated ever since CGI came out, and like we're seeing more and more people are going back to practical like makeup effects, but models looked good. They had real dimension. The best science fiction is when you take models and then use CGI to punch it up as opposed to entirely CGI. It ages better. That one, the one you're talking about, was an intro to a really dark phase of Red Dwarf where they lose the Red Dwarf and are stuck on this tiny little ship and suddenly have to worry about shit like rations for the first time in their lives.
Yeah, right. It gets really kind of dark and like their attrition.
Yeah, they actually kind of become action heroes at that point. They start like carrying guns around with them a lot more often, and
yeah, because up to that point, thanks to the provisions on the Red Dwarf, there was enough Vindaloo that Lister would need to pop it on the sides of Lake Michigan.
That's it. This show's obsession with Vindaloo. I
I'm
wanted
obsessed with Vindaloo.
I wanted Vindaloo so bad when I was a kid. And luckily I really liked it, but like I was just determined. I was like, I need Lister eats Vindaloo, I need Vindaloo.
I'll throw in, for me, this is a hard one. Because Future Echoes is one of my favorite, maybe not my favorite.
Uh-huh.
I'd say maybe Justice.
That's the one where they're all put on trial, yeah?
That's the one where Rimmer's put on trial for the death of the crew.
And they're on the prison planet, and there's the technology, so whatever he tries to do that's like bad happens to him instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Justice Field.
The Justice Field.
That was such a good episode. That was season 7, I think. That episode that season gets a bad rap, but it actually does some really clever things.
Oh, season 4.
Oh, season 4. Okay, I'm sorry. I have 3 seasons on DVD. 1, 4, and 7. So I'm apparently getting them a little mixed up there.
I'm also a big fan of the Inquisitor, but maybe not as much as Justice. That's a big toss-up for me. But the Inquisitor was the time-traveling android that goes and erases people that are worthless.
Oh,
from
yeah.
the timeline.
God, I'm using other sci-fi concepts. What happens if we take this person out of existence?
Mm-hmm.
And replace them with one of the sperms that never got a chance.
Yep.
God. This show is weird and funny, and it shouldn't be as dark as it randomly decides to be sometimes. I don't really have any other thoughts on it. other than watch Red Dwarf.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it and you've dug what we've been talking about, go fucking watch it, please.
It's not what you expect it to be.
I think that's a lot. Jesse, do you have any closing thoughts on Red Dwarf?
No, man, just go check it out. It's one of my favorite things ever. It's like my nerdy obsession. That's what the show is, right? General nerdery.
That's right.
It is my one and only singular obsession. I love Red Dwarf more than I love anything else in the world. So go check it out. Watch it all start to finish.
Yeah, boy.
And speaking of our show, we would highly appreciate it if you hit subscribe, however you're listening to us right now.
Before we jump into that spiel, though, do we have any recommendations we want to do this week?
Oh, shit. Do you have any recommendations? I'll think on mine for a second.
Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. We mentioned it last week with Why the Last Man. Something in the news talking about Why the Last Man. It's from the same writer. It is the greatest comic book I have ever read. And from me, that is saying, oh, so much. The earliest description is it's Romeo and Juliet in space, but that doesn't even begin to explain it. It's about a family trying to survive a war in space, and there's spaceships that are made of trees, and ghost babysitters that, like, their bottom parts don't exist, so their guts are just hanging out, and robots with TVs for heads, and it's I don't have the words for how good, but occasionally how dirty that comic is.
Okay. We need to really start writing down our recommendations.
Yeah, we absolutely. We
I'm trying to think
every week now.
I know, because I'm trying to think of what I've recommended in the past. And have I recommended Big Mouth?
Yes.
Fuck. Oh yeah, Jesse listens. Good, thank you.
We had this with Roar too. We are running out of time so we can do this.
Then in that case, I'll recommend the album Duke Lion Fights the Terror from the band Big Dumb Face. Big Dumb Face is Wes Borland of Limp Bizkit's side project.
This is not where I expected it to.
It is a very loose concept album that doesn't necessarily tell a story, but more just introduces you to this universe where all these characters coexist and can best be described as death country, with songs ranging from super hard death metal to jokey, almost spoken word country shit like Blood Red Head on Fire and Mighty Penis Laser. There also is a sequel to the album that caused me to have a mind-blowing moment like a couple months ago when I finally listened to it. But I would recommend that album, actually, because it's a lot of fun. And it's kind of like what you said at the end of talking about Red Dwarf. It's not what you would expect.
Awesome. Jesse, any recommendations for you, bud?
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck on Mighty Penis Laser a little bit. What was the question? It's kind of gauche. It's kind of gauche to, I suppose, hawk a podcast on a podcast. But I've been listening to a show called No Such Thing as a Fish, which you can find wherever your podcasts are sold. It is a podcast put on by the QI Elves, if you're familiar with Quite Interesting, the British panel show.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And it's just hours and hours of them throwing facts out and just telling jokes and throwing out facts. And it's hilarious, and it's a good way to spend the time if you're stuck on a bus or stuck at work. So that's what I've been ingesting.
Oh, my God. I didn't know the QI Elves had a podcast.
Oh, yes. No Such Thing as a Fish. It's fantastic.
His face is lit up here.
That makes me so happy. QI is amazing, too. Highly recommend QI.
Sweet. I'm learning new things.
It's hard to find here in the States unless you want to subscribe to old BritBox.
Oh, shit.
God, I'm increasingly feeling like I'm going to have to do that with the advertisements they're giving me.
I agree.
They've got Hercule Poirot on there. I love Agatha Christie's Poirot.
I know, me too. Miss Marple as well. They did a couple miniseries of Miss Marple that were just fantastic.
I watched that as a kid. I haven't seen it as an adult. I feel like I would enjoy it so much more as a grown-up.
I haven't seen them. I can't comment.
Yeah.
Closest I come is Murder by Death. So.
Love that movie.
So I fucked up my segue earlier, but now we would
segue, man.
Oh, I know. I just jumped on it, but it was the wrong time. But now we would super appreciate it if you hit subscribe, however you're listening to us right now, because we love you listening to us.
You can follow us on social media at Facebook and Twitter at General Nerdery. I tried to call us The Art of Wargaming. That's my next podcast.
Everyone gives their specific ats, but to be honest, if you just type in General Nerdery, we're what comes up.
Yep.
Even if that's not what specifically it is. So
yeah, so just type that in. You can also find us on our website at generalnerdcast.com.
Yeah, go there, check out all the entire back catalog, and while you're there, you'll notice up at the top we are part of the Earworm Podcast Network. You can follow the links there to go check out all of the shows. Listen to me talk about horror movies over on Fried Squirms. You can hear Zach talk about Machiavelli and wargaming and all of that fun stuff over on the Art of Wargaming, and you can keep caught up on all of those and all the shows that are yet to come over at earworm.com. That's EARVVYRM.com.
Jesse, thanks so much for being on with us today. Is there anywhere where people can follow you? Anything you make that people can...
Oh, no, none of that at all. Please, in fact, leave me alone.
Okay, yeah, perfect. We'll never.
But I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been an honor.
Yeah, I appreciate having you.
And if I may say so, smoke me a clipper. I'll be back for Christmas.
Perfect. In the meantime, we're your generals of nerdery.
Dismissed.